I hope my hand doesn't go cryogenic. Luann was right. It's frozen solid. It's so dark in here, I can't read a word. It's turned off. Let's see. Great, here we go with the typical objects that don't work, that are broken, that need replacement parts. Brian says these are timeless laws of the universe. But one thing must remain clear. I know nothing about electricity, and I'm not fixing it. Okay, let's see what it's about. Yikes, could it be any spookier? It's a list of names with the dates and places of birth and death and the location of the person's grave. These are the most luxurious digs in this bone pile. Could you translate this manual for me? It's in Swedish.
Is Swedish a dead language?
I don't think so.
Then I can't help you, dear. Though, if you find the grave of a Swede here in the graveyard, I can ask him or her to translate it for you. But wait. First, let me think. First, I should make certain that the primordial energy in the graveyard is benign. In other words, I have to wait for the spirits infesting this crypt to express their presence by giving off the usual phantom chill.
That sounds good. The end of the cable has no plastic coating, so it'll be much more sensitive to the cold than the rest. So let's see.
A thermal manifestation! Oh, my spirits. What lovely creatures.
Hey, it worked! I feel bad about tricking Agatha, but I guess I've done worse things in my time. And with a lot less payoff than now. What about Agatha? Oh, there she is. Hey, Agatha, what are you doing here?
Congratulate me, dear. They gave me permission.
Congratulations. Who gave you permission and what for?
Didn't you hear the ectothermal machine beeping? The spirits of the Kilgore brothers, the primordial energy force in this graveyard, have authorized me to proceed with my research on their turf.
Oh, wow, how cool.
So you need not fear anything any longer, dear. Just answer me honestly. Why is your tormented spirit still wandering through this world?
Because I'm not dead yet?
Come on, are you sure?
I'd bet my life on it, but there are other things I'm not so sure about.
Oh, you have questions? Tell me. I'm your medium.
Heard any more voices from beyond the grave?
What are you talking about, dear? Oh, no. Ever since I left that crypt, not a peep, not a wailing sob, not a boo, not a thing.
What are you doing out here?
Nothing, dear. I'm verifying the tests performed by the ectothermal scanning machine to check the sudden parabiothermal coldness detected in the Kilgore crypt.
What did you need to translate the manual into Swedish?
If you find the grave of a Swede here in the graveyard, I can ask him or her to translate it for you.
See you around, Agatha.
Goodbye, dear.
Brian's text message said not to leave the cemetery, but I don't see what's wrong with approaching the front gate. Ernie? You're still here?
Gina Basco. How's it going, kid?
Great, fine. I mean, actually terrible. I'm distraught. Thanks for attending the funeral.
Oh, well, I was Basco's favorite orderly, and he was my favorite nut job. How could I miss his funeral? What's more, Happydale didn't send anyone to it. But of course, with everything that's going on down there, that place is like crazy. Hey, Gina, I got a joke for you. You ain't nothing but a mad dog.
Well, well, you sure kept the thing about Luann all to yourself.
How'd you find out?
Ernie, it's easier to catch a man red-handed than a child. Want to know something else? I'd love to know how you met.
Well, it wasn't the best time, but I noticed her during the funeral. Then, when she started trimming some hedges, I went over and showed her my Harley, and we ended up making a date for the bowling alley.
You just drive her crazy. She wants to jump your bones.
And Ernie here wants to jump hers, babe. Don't get me wrong, you're a hottie too, but she is blonde, of course.
You make a great couple.
She is a hunk of love. I can't remember the last time I fell for such a sizzling number. Why, it's been hours.
Don't worry, she'll be out soon.
I hope so, because I really want to hit them pins. Don't get the wrong idea, though. I never make out with a girl on the first date. Except when I want to.
I bet you could spend all day talking about her, but I can't.
Babe, if you were into Luann as much as Ernie is, well, we'd have us a problem. Or on second thought, things could get interesting.
There's something I need to tell you about Brian.
Shoot, babe. I'm all ears.
Did you notice anything strange about him in his final days?
You know what, babe? I think Brian knew he had something coming. He was nervous-like. Couldn't stop pacing around, talking to one guy, then another. It's as if he had a sixth sense, telling him, "Get a move on, kid. Things are almost over with here." Wait, I almost forgot. Brian's the one with the bag. Looks good on him, huh?
Clearly he adapted to his new environment pretty well.
Yeah, well, we took this picture the day before Brian, you know, just keep it. It's all yours.
How original. I didn't know people gave gifts at funerals, but thanks.
Nothing's too good for my favorite brunette, darling. If I hadn't fallen in love with Luann today, I'd have done even more.
Did you hear him talk about some place he would have liked to visit?
Not that I can remember now, no.
What do you know about Brian's attempted escape?
Nothing. Just what people were saying. That he tried to escape through the air ducts and that his head got chopped off by a big fan. Poor nut job.
Who else could tell me more about Brian's final days?
The guys who knew Brian best at Happydale were Dr. Bennett, who's now missing, and his fellow escapees, Jacob Kurgan and Gabo Spiegelman. You're going to have a hard time, babe.
One other thing. Brian is alive.
Babe, Brian will always be alive in our memories. But you need to turn the page and live your own life. Once I get over this Luann thing, I'll call you up and help you.
What did you really think about Brian?
Well, Ernie already told you. Brian was his favorite nut job. What do you mean?
Do you think Brian murdered Kordsmeyer?
Kordsmeyer was that military brass, right? Hey, I don't know, babe. Maybe he did and maybe he didn't. You never know with these nut jobs.
Do you really think Brian was insane?
Obviously, babe. Crazier than a cuckoo.
By the way, I guess nobody doubts Brian is dead. Like, totally dead, right?
Well, maybe I shouldn't tell you this, but there's rumors that when they found him, he was a bit... how should I put it?
Headless? I know, Ernie. I'm the one who identified his body.
Oh, babe, that's horrible. Then why are you asking this stuff? Who'd know better than you?
Maybe I just need to get used to not talking about Brian all day long.
It's normal, babe. He's always on your mind.
Why did you say the psychiatric hospital is like crazy?
Haven't you heard, hon? Just 2 days ago, right when Brian keeled over, 2 inmates escaped, and Dr. Bennett disappeared. An office ceiling collapsed, and a nurse who just got hired decided to quit. And she was some major eye candy, that little lady. Ooh.
Bennett disappeared? The same Dr. Bennett that was treating Brian?
The very same. I don't know if he'd finished his report for the judge, determining whether Brian was crazy or not. But who cares at this point?
Which 2 inmates escaped?
That'll be Jacob Kurgan and Gabo Spiegelman. From what I've heard, all 3 tried to skip the nut house together, but Brian got the worst part.
Don't you think it's weird that so many unusual things happened in such a short time?
Nope. It's like that movie. Unfortunate events always seem to happen in a series.
Getting back to our last topic. Don't call me Basco. My last name is Timmons.
So, you're ashamed of Basco. Of Brian. Wow. And he never stopped talking about how much he loved you and what a hottie you were. And he wasn't hallucinating either.
Brian and I aren't married. I'm not really sure what you'd call our relationship.
Well then, you're not a widow, and he's nothing more than a deceased friend.
I'd hate to have to give up my father's last name. I've already abused it so much as it is.
Well then, were you using your own name in that place where you used to dance? I thought you would have made up some kind of stage name, like Bubbles or Candy Cane.
How do you know about that? Damn Brian! He's gonna hear from me. He's gonna learn to keep his big fat mouth shut.
I don't mean to take sides, but I think Brian's already learned a thing or two about keeping quiet.
I'm not ashamed of Brian. No matter how nerdy he can be, he's the kindest man I've ever met.
Well, considering the string of gems you've come across in the past. Brian told me all your exes were, not very recommendable bachelors.
Just drop it. My last name is none of your business.
Okay, babe.
I need to go back to Brian's grave a while. You understand.
Don't let it get to you, babe. Whatever doesn't kill you just makes you smell better.
Too bad someone raked the dry leaves off the path. Otherwise, it would look like the one in The Wizard of Oz. No way, it must be full of dirt and dead insects. I wouldn't even do it with a rubber glove. Doesn't look like major construction. Yeah, these things can rust really fast. Let's see. The shovel. No, kind of creepy in a cemetery. And those metal thingies? No. Cement. What's that? Oh, I know. I'll take one of these adjustable tubular items you can use to prop things up. That might be useful. The little plaque says, "Please keep the cemetery clean. Remember, someday it may be your home." That's not a very nice thing to say. I refuse to stick my hands in there. I wouldn't even do it with a rubber glove.